It's Simstaff. We are a turnkey white label provider of freelance staffing support for the sim racing industry. What that means is that if you have a sim event, whether it's here in the UK, whether it's in Australia, we can provide you passionately trained sim racers to support those activations.
Do you consider Simstaff the kings of sim racing events?
No, I think the event industry for sim racing and digital motorsport is obviously very competitive. I think we do a good job. You know, I always believe that sim racers can do events better than events companies doing sim racing.
Welcome back to Gear Z. Now we are recording inside of Escapade, or more precisely on the rooftop. You have Megas on the side, Beckett, and we have Josh Martin with us. Josh, welcome back to the show. I think this is the second time that you are recording because things have delay, but you guys been very busy. But the first question going to be always, what means sim racing for you?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me back. And I see you also brought the son to the UK and an F1 car as well. No, I think for me, sim racing is obviously something that we're all very passionate about. I'm sure many of the listeners are that follow along with this. For me, it's a great chance to race cars and tracks that otherwise never would get the chance of. And also to kind of share my motorsport passion with people who maybe couldn't afford to go racing either, you know? So it's something I very much love and enjoy.
But let me asking about you, because I told you this one, you are probably one of the main webs when it comes to sim racing. You are always everywhere. From where that comes? Why you choose sim racing?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think for me, your network is your net worth, I believe. And when I was first getting into the world of motorsport and learning, there was someone called Craig who was a team manager for a team that I was kind of discussing with. But he was very, very good at walking into any event, any room, putting on a smile and saying hi to everybody. And I was just amazed. I didn't believe that someone could be this confident. And then I very quickly learned that if you can do that yourself, the opportunities it brings, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet you or to be here to do this, for example. But I think the industry, I'm sure you'd agree, is quite small in sim racing. So everyone kind of knows people, but if you can at least introduce yourself, it makes it a bit easier to talk to people, right?
I agree. I think sim racing is a small space. I think we play them bigger than actually it is. And I think I said this one to Thomas Harrison Lord. I think it was the time that beginning of the year was a little bit negative for sim racing. A lot of people put bad stuff online. But now I think everyone slow down a little bit and understand that you have different opinions. Everyone never gonna agree with the same thing. The drivers don't agree on the same parents when they speak about sim racing. Max Verstappen love it. Philippe Albuquerque was saying that 20 laps is the maximum he can do. Otherwise, he start driving more the sim than driving his actual car.
Yeah.
So we don't want to lose that. So I think it's such a world with so many varieties of doing it that you have space for everyone.
No, definitely. And I think, even as we joke about the fact that this car is going around the track, but, I certainly appreciate just how difficult that must be now, having driven it in the sim. And I'm sure you probably feel the same, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we have to see on the company's perspective, how much money can you save preparing a driver to the track
right?
on the sim. And I think that is where we have stayed. But now you are Silverstone. I can call you Mr. Silverstone.
I wish.
Because you are we are with the Sims on Hilton, you are with Sims on the Silverstone Museum. How come with that partnership and how important it is for you to have your name on the truck?
Yeah, I think obviously Silverstone is the home of British motorsport, right? It's the place that everyone dreams about. It's a circuit that I never dreamed I'd be at, let alone having some work here. So the Hilton partnership came earlier this year. We were at the Autosport International show, I think. Did you go? Yeah, perfect. And we were supporting Girls Across the Grid, which is a great community, and they bring women into motorsport. They have social clubs, all this kind of stuff. But they needed a sim for their stand. So we provided them a sim for their stand for the weekend, and Hilton went and spoke to them and said, hey, we're looking for some sims. So Corin, the team at Girls Across the Grid, introduced us there, which was amazing. And then just quickly with the museum as well, Digital Motorsports, who I don't think, do they still exist? Are they still about?
I don't think so. Okay. It was a Radical, no? Because the museum have contact with the Radical, no?
Exactly. So Digital Motorsports originally, probably 2 years ago now, contacted us. They had some sims that they need built, like always. Then unfortunately, they've kind of, I guess, disappeared, for lack of a better term. But we've stayed in touch with Matthew, the team in the museum, and now we kind of service and maintain the sims and help them there.
And how it works? You guys have a go on which type of cars and trucks people can drive. You supply all of that.
Yeah, for sure. So in terms of the cars and tracks that are chosen, that's down to the museum. They'll put special events on. But if they have like bigger events going on, we can support them. If the sims need some maintenance, we'll look after them as well. So we're really there kind of in the background providing the technical support, but that's the bit that we love. So.
And what type of brands now you are working? Because I know you're working with Fanatec, working Aztec, you're working with BPS in UK. Which more brands you have connections and where you can find it?
At the moment, we're doing a lot of work with Base Performance, like you say. Obviously, I know you've done some content with them, which was great. But we work with them quite a bit in the US at the moment. Playseat as well support us a lot with providing us kit, which is great. And then Acertech as well, like you say. Obviously, they do a really, really good job. I'm going to put my sunglasses on because that's Sonic. I don't want to be squinting. But at the moment, we kind of do a little bit of work with everybody. We haven't dealt too much with like Moza and Camus and stuff. But I see they're doing some really cool things.
Yeah, they have... I think Vazzaro and Monza are on the F1 arcade.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think Conspeed, I think they are putting his hands a little bit on Europe too. I saw that they send a lot of stuff to some Instagram sim racers. Probably where they can get the sales.
Yes, for sure.
To where come the views.
Definitely.
So it's a lot of things come to sim racing. And we are now in the middle of 2024. So what are your expectations for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think obviously we've just finished Silverstone, which is great. We've got the summer break now where it'll be a bit quieter. And then the second half of F1 season is always super busy. Vegas is obviously a super important race for a lot of the brands that we kind of work with. So we'll do that. And
same thing like last year. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Last year you've been on Las Vegas.
Exactly, right.
With Williams.
Yes, so we'll be working there with Williams. Base Performance, we had a rig supporting them in the paddock last year for Aston. And we've got some other bits and stuff that we'll kind of be doing around the sides. But yeah, you're right that the start of the year was really quite quiet. And, obviously for us on the event side had quite a big impact because there wasn't a lot of people doing stuff. But I'm curious what your thoughts were as to why that was. Do you have any idea?
I think it's a little bit because of the games affect a little bit. So I think Forza Motorsport was expecting too much and after disappoint a little bit.
What was...
I think Esport WRC, I like the game. So a lot of people don't like it. I think, of course, you have to remember that's a game that is support for controllers. True. So it's not a full simulator. So I think could affect a little bit the handle on our perspective. But we need to think that it's for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's a game that develops a lot of content. If Esport and Codemaster probably can put a little bit more content, it's a game that have possibility. But I think that affects a little bit. And after, everyone's swapping games to iRacing and, crash up and net pull up and people get angry. So, I know there's a lot of variants, but I think sim racing, like Thomas Harrison Lord say, sim racing is coming with loads of things. Ian Bell now have a new game that changed for GT Revival to Project Manager, I think. I forgot.
Yeah, it's not Project Car, it's Project Manager or something, right? Yeah.
It's coming back to very soon going to be Project Car. You have Pista Motorsport that come from Argentina. That's a game that is not very well known, but is released. You have now a game released for Nintendo Switch, can be like a Gran Turismo version for Nintendo Switch.
Oh wow.
Hot Lap Racing.
Okay.
So you have a lot of games coming. Le Mans Ultimate, I think, is surprising everyone.
Yeah, they started releasing DLC, right?
Yeah, the DLC was announced, I think, yesterday.
Okay.
Lamborghini, Peugeot 9X8, and Imola. So
okay,
so it's good.
Yeah,
I think sim racing is coming, but sometimes you cannot have everything in one go.
No, that's very true, and you're spot on. I guess Renennsport is now technically releasing some content as well, right? Okay, and I know obviously we've got a set of Corsa 8. Yeah, so.
I keep saying Assetto. I think when I stay on the mind the 2 because the second version of Assetto Corsa, but and they are opening for mods.
I saw that as well.
Sell it mods inside, so I think it can be good for a lot of companies or kids that are developing the mods. Yeah, get some money and probably get better mods and evolve what they are doing. So
no, definitely. The important thing is what a lot of people maybe don't consider is if you go to like Silverstone or if you go to maybe Goodwood or an event like this, some of these tracks obviously aren't licensed in the game. So Goodwood Hill Climb isn't in any game. So if we have mods that we can now use at a public event, it means people can drive more tracks, drive more cars, have a better time. So it's exciting news from Kunos. I'm interested to see if it works, but I think at least they're trying, right?
Yeah, so now that you touch on Renennsport, let me ask him, what is your views on this new politic of changing the game for open or early stage, and after have this price of £60 for the full package?
Yeah, it's quite tricky, right? I mean, obviously, so we support ESL with the stewarding for that series. So we've got guys going out to the Esports World Cup very soon. But I think it's very tricky, right? I don't know. Personally, I don't think it's the worst approach. A lot of games now in early access are doing kind of like Le Mans Ultimate, right? They're bringing out DLC. The price is probably a bit expensive, I feel, for what's available. And I guess ultimately people can either, if they don't buy the game, then that's a very clear message, right? So
you feel that Renennsport are some financial problem, that's why probably they put the price a little bit high to try to get some revenue.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't want to, because you work with them, I don't want to touch on that part.
Asking all the tricky questions. I think, £60 or €60 for a racing game probably isn't too expensive when you compare what the F1 games are or WRC when it launches. The difference is those games are obviously complete by the time they're released, right? So, I think it'll be interesting to see if people will pay that price or not. I think it comes with its own challenges if the content isn't all there, but hopefully they can get it sorted. And obviously, it's not cheap to develop a game either, right?
Yeah, so. And I think they just say that it's just now a car and Nürburgring on that package and after deliveries. But I will assume that they will add something more with the time.
Yeah.
I feel that this probably the £60 could be like a season pass.
Yes,
and
exactly. Right.
Very soon probably they're going to say, look, this is a season pass, it's coming more cars, but on the moment I could not say to you guys it's coming 4 or 5 cars because we don't know. I feel that could be the approach.
That's a really good idea.
I hope, because Renennsport is not bad. I enjoy it. It's a game that is an early stage, so it's always difficult. Some people are going to have bugs, other people aren't going to have the bugs, So I quite enjoy it, and they are doing something good, because the events are different from what events of sim racing that you see, completely different from the Gran Turismo, very different from the F1 sim racing.
Yes.
So I don't know what's your point of view.
It's a really good idea, because I guess a lot of people probably talk to you about we need to look towards Fortnite or Counter-Strike or Call of Duty to learn how to make sim racing bigger, and they all have season passes, right? So that's not a bad idea that you've got. I think that's a good one that maybe Renennsport should listen to.
I think it's what they're doing. Probably they didn't announce it, but I put my faith. Now that you're talking about Fortnite, everything we've been talking about, you being to the BBC Scotland, talking about the Olympic Games having now esports modalities. What's your point of view on that? And what if you think that sim racing will have a chance to be there?
Yeah, I think obviously the Olympic Games have now decided to bring in esports, which is great. Video games for a long time people have been talking about it, right? Saying what will it be? And I'm glad that they've not announced the games yet. I think if they can choose stuff like sim racing, it would be better because people will understand it more. Call of Duty, Fortnite, I get they're popular games, but they're not really, I don't know, for me they don't feel like they should be in the Olympics,
Are more control games. But like talking about, you mentioned the heartbeat and all that one. That is a sport, no? If you are...
No, you're spot on, right? And the competition element is definitely there. I don't know. Like, I feel if I was to show like some family or some friends sim racing at the Olympics, they go, "Oh, that's cool. That's kind of like real motorsport." Whereas if they see Call of Duty and Fortnite, they might be like, "Do shooting games really belong at the Olympics?" Because
You think you have any sim that could be part of the Olympic Games on the moment?
No, I think like we were saying off air beforehand, I know a couple of years ago they trialed the Olympics and Gran Turismo was involved, right? So I quite like Gran Turismo to be there, but what game would you choose? What would you?
I was talking to you about Trackmania. I think is the game probably that, because it's about timing, about person alone on their own track. I think probably going to be the most fast game, because people don't get bored. When it comes to sim racing, unfortunately, a lot of times when it's to do a 24-hour Le Mans, it's a very good thing for teams. But because everyone is driving on their own home, the events, I think, tend to disappear a little bit.
Definitely.
But if it was, for example, they pick up here Silverstone, they close one part of Silverstone, they make a 24 hours Silverstone with the people.
Ah, nice.
Imagine you are here in front of Beckett's and you put these things, everyone's driving here, and you can hear what happened between teams.
Yes,
I think that will bring more closure, because we want to see the action, just not the cars on track. You want to hear what the drivers are speaking, because they do that when F1, the communication.
Definitely.
So I think that could be one good shout.
Definitely.
Go to the tracks, do the events on the tracks.
Yeah.
Bring people to in front of one stand to see the race.
Yeah.
Some food on the back.
No, definitely. It needs to be more of an atmosphere, right? You're completely correct. And so that's why I hope the games that they pick are ones that people can follow and can enjoy, right? I think it's super important.
But do you think Simracing going to be already on this Olympic?
I think it's got to be. If I had to place a bet on it, I would say yes.
Okay.
I don't know. Would you say yes? Would you place a bet?
Yeah. Like I say, it's probably Trackmania because they done the deal with, like we speak about Formula E.
Yeah, okay.
They are doing something. I think they done something with NASCAR cars.
Yeah.
But Gran Turismo probably will be the most indicate game.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's middleweight, is I think more than an arcade game. When people still complain, I think it's more, and it's where been a lot of people. The views, a part of the F1 sim racing is where are the views. If you compare Gran Turismo event with the Renennsport event, you're gonna see the number on YouTube on Gran Turismo are higher because they separate in 6 language. I think they do English, they have Spanish, Italian. I forgot now which more language they do. Japanese, of course. Yeah. They need to do, and I forgot now. I think they do in Brazil, Portuguese from Brazil.
Wow.
So they think 6 language. Okay. So they separate their views a little bit, but after if you put everything on the same cake, it's huge.
But to me that makes sense. That sounds I guess if you're watching the Olympics in France versus watching them over here, you'll get different commentary, right? So that's a really fair point I hadn't considered, but a great way to do it. So I mean, to be fair, if it was Trackmania, that'd be quite cool as well, right?
To be fair, it should be because probably they can do a track around the Olympic.
Exactly, they could make a custom track, right? Yeah, definitely.
So something different. Let's see what.
No, and I guess the last thing I'd say is that obviously the Olympics needs to keep younger people engaged with the sport, right? Yeah. And gaming is a great way to do that as well. So
yeah, that's 100%. And now, what's for Simstaff for the rest of the year?
Yeah, the rest of the year, there's quite a lot on. We're doing a lot more in the US. I think, like we were kind of saying before, obviously, the Americans. Everyone's loving it. The Sims over there, the passion's great. The events are great. They're on a much bigger scale as well, which is awesome. So we'll be back at the PRI show in Indianapolis. I think it's in November. Yep. And then we've got quite a lot of stuff going on with various partners as well, which some of it I can't talk about, unfortunately, but which is going on well. F1 exhibition, of course, next month. We can talk about that. And then the Simracing Expo as well. Obviously, we're a partner this year, which is great. So I know I'll be seeing you there, right?
Yeah. I think the Simracing Expo, as you being partner, I think going to change a little bit the perspective of people on Simstaff.
That's a good question.
Because you have.
Do you think it would?
You have Gridfinder there.
Yeah.
Traxio, Aztec, and Simstaff as the 4 main partners.
Yeah.
Is missing someone? I don't think so.
Is it Logitech?
Logitech, yeah. Logitech,
well. Yeah.
So you think that's gonna show more the perspective of the company to the sim racing world?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for some of our guys who are obviously, everyone who works with us is like a passionate sim racer at heart, right? So this is like, I think you said it before, this is like the event they kind of need to go to. If you're in sim racing, you have to be at this show, right? So for a lot of our staff, it's going to be a really exciting opportunity. Obviously for us, it's a great way to support the brands involved. So if you're booking your stand this year, you can now book staff to run your sims for you, which is great.
Okay.
And so for us, hopefully, we'll be quite active there, getting a chance to kind of meet some people, talk to our existing clients, meet some new clients. And the show, I think, is busier than ever, right? They've sold out most of the stands, I think.
Yeah, I think last year was my first Sim Expo. Oh, nice. And everyone will say to me, oh, it's too small. They have one car pass around. Everyone will say it was too small, but I felt it was everything compact, and that was good.
Yes.
Because very easy, you could jump from one corner to the other corner.
Yeah, definitely.
I think this year going to be full. I think Saturday last year was the chaos. Was so many people.
Yeah.
Was so many people. I think on Friday was really more for us.
Yes, definitely.
For the sim racing guys that we content and they want to see a little bit everything. But yeah, I'm excited. I think I'm happy for Danny and all the team.
Yes,
I think
definitely.
They went for a little bit difficult when it was the 2022.
Yeah.
Jumping for the 2023 was like fresh air.
Yeah.
They make a great job. Everyone was really happy. Outside of Nürburgring in Dortmund, everyone was complaining, but now you are in there, you have space, so many autos around. It's easy for us to get everything. So I think I'm really excited.
Yeah, and like you said, we've now got Frostmaster there for the first time. Logitech.
There's probably going to release something special.
They've got to, right?
Yeah, I think they've been too quiet for so many.
Exactly. So there's a lot of brands that are coming for the first time. I know Base Performance are going as well. Yeah. So
Cube. is coming back.
Exactly, right? So it's a great show for people to be at.
If you start speaking about the brands, you're going to stay here
well,
all
that's it, right?
day.
How long is the list?
Yeah, it's
But
already 40-something brands.
I think it's going to be a really exciting show, and I think for us is obviously it's important to be there to support the industry, but also it's a great way for people to understand what sim racing is, and maybe bringing some friends or family who don't understand what it is, right, and learn what the show is. So.
And to see how big is this small niche.
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly, yeah. So it should be cool. And will you be there? I'm assuming you're going to be filming some shows, some interviews.
We'll be recording, this podcast is already recording with Alex Goldschmidt. That's,
nice, yeah.
Because it's been hired now because he was always working with Sim Expo, but always as a freelancer.
Yeah.
Now it's part of the
He
team.
works there now.
So I think it's good to celebrate his first official Sim Expo, to do something with him. I'm going to be recording. I'm excited to see what's coming.
Yeah.
Like I say, Logitech, I'm pretty sure they need to drop something.
Yeah,
Trustmaster, the same thing. I think they lose a little bit the wagon on these last 2 years with I think Trustmaster a little bit late releases. So I think they need to jump and do something. So I think it's going to be good if they come show something completely unique just there. So say, look, guys, we are not dead. We are here. Don't forget about us, because we've been the part of the sim racing. Fanatec, I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see, right?
Yeah. What's your point of views on the Corsair and Fanatec drama?
Yeah, so we've had conversations with Corsair for the past period of time now. I won't say how long. So we're kind of, the news wasn't entirely unpredictable, I guess. I mean, you look at a lot of brands, Cooler Master, is that what they're called? Yeah, Cooler Master. They've brought out their own sim racing cockpit. A lot of the PC companies are building their own hardware now. So I guess it was only a matter of time before Corsair did the same, and the fact that they're working with Fanatec is obviously great, or taking over Fanatec, depending on how you want to look at it. So yeah, I think they'll be there in a big presence. They don't really have any new products to show though, do they? I don't think.
No, they have the rig.
Yeah, I suppose the new cockpit, right?
That could be different because you can integrate everything that is Elgato.
Yeah.
And I think Elgato normally, as part of Corsair, they are always very clean. So probably can be good to Fanatec. Another thing is having access to the products of Fanatec.
Yes.
Available to us to buy it probably could be one of the great points, because if you go to, like, Speak America, Micro Center, Aztec is there with loads of material. Everyone is there. So I think that's the thing with Fanatec. I think they need to jump on the not just sell at one point where they cannot have hands to deliver everything. 100%. I think they need to probably to pass the sales to other company, or not network. Amazon probably, but to like a Micro Center, have available in some special retail centers.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that's the important thing as well, right? Is that the Fanatec name isn't going to disappear. I think Fanatec will still stay, and for Corsair it makes sense to keep the name about, because people recognize it now, you know. So although Fanatec will disappear, it probably won't change for the average person, right? I don't think the average sim racer is going to notice. No,
I don't think they will probably disappear. I think everything is a little bit weird, and we don't know. Everyone is talking about what they're listening, so we don't know if it's Chinese whispers telling us. You know, we never know 100% what is happening. Yeah. But yeah, if I'm sad if that what is true, what people say that's gonna happen. But Corsair already have some of the products of Fanatec as they bought the license for the product.
Exactly, right.
So it means that they are trying to do, and I don't think they will change too much the identity of Fanatec. I think they're going to pick up something, and they're going to try to keep it the same essence. Probably we're going to see more wheels coming. Yeah. Not with the RGBs. I don't see Corsair put the RGBs like everyone. I don't know if you remember the memes. Yeah. RGBs on everything, but I think I'd be excited for the brand. Yeah. And Thomas said that we need a Fanatec strong on sim racing, because being part of sim racing, same thing with Logitech and Trustmaster. So I think we just need to support them wherever they need to do.
No, definitely, right. And I think Fanatec's done a lot of good. And obviously, I know there's a lot of brands in sim racing now, but you kind of have, Trustmaster, Fanatec, and Logitech were the original three, and they kind of all pushed each other upwards. So hopefully that can stay, right?
Yeah, they are the dinosaurs of
exactly.
They are the dinosaurs of sim racing.
Exactly, right.
So they are, like you said, the three pilots. They were the first ones to advance, and I think sim racing needs so much of Fanatec
Yeah.
as Fanatec did from Simracing. So
Exactly right, and obviously Acertech and all these other companies are doing amazing things, and they're pushing things even quicker forward. But I think
because they have the open door.
Exactly right.
Trustmaster, Logitech, Fanatec, they open the door
Yeah.
for these brands have more easy enter on Simracing. So
That's it, right? And I think if it, imagine it was Corsair were buying Frostmaster or Corsair were buying Acertech, I think my opinion would be the same, right? That we need these people in the space because they do some really cool stuff.
exactly. And now I was asking you this one: is the flight simulators on the future of Simstaff?
Whoa, it's a good question.
Because it's coming now, the fever of the flight sims.
Yes.
Start getting a little bit more up and up.
Definitely. So, I mean, the flight sim market, we're starting to do some really cool stuff. We're working with a company called the Mod Group, who are an agency based out in the US.
All right.
And they do some really cool stuff with various clients, which I won't name specifically, but we're supporting them in educational museums, I'll say, with some flight simulators there, maintaining those. And the flight simulation market's really interesting. I mean, I don't know your thoughts on it, but I think there's a lot of potential there
I think so.
To help
I'm
it grow.
not a big flight simulator guy, but I've been seeing and I think it's crazy. A little bit more cheaper than sim racing.
For sure, right? Yeah, definitely.
So that is the easy way for us to enter. But like sim racing is something that you can use from real life for the virtual, and from the virtual to the real life.
Exactly, yeah.
So if something is like this one is unique, and I think sim racing was one of the only ones, and the flight simulators make part of that group. I think it's the only game that you can say that you can use on the real world. A part of Call of Duty, you cannot use it.
No,
Fortnite
you're
is nothing
exactly
that you're gonna learn there. That's gonna for sure. If you shoot on Call of Duty very well, you're not gonna be able to do it on the real world. I don't know. I'm talking about.
Well, maybe I don't know. No, but you're so right. I mean, we do a lot of stuff, or I do a lot of stuff personally with Frostmaster. I've been, a brand ambassador with them for the past, I think, 7 or 8 years now. And flight sim's obviously a huge thing of what they do. So for me, I'm really excited to see what we can achieve. And the flight simulator games are so realistic now. Like you can literally probably fly over here in the game and see all the different buildings. So
it's crazy, no? It's how detailed everything is. And I think it was Dan Suzuki have a video.
Because he started doing it, right?
Yeah, it was on a helicopter. Someone shoot him, and he do a barrel around them, and it's crazy for us to think on all the evolution of the gaming, and how great it is. And like Thomas Edison say on the other day from Traxio, let's enjoy this and not break down what's coming for sim racing.
100%, because you're spot on. The more people that get involved, the more these companies like Frostmaster, Acertech, etc. can make, the more products they can bring to the market, and more choice is what we all want, right? So it's a win-win for everyone. Yeah, definitely.
To finish, what you want to say to everyone about Simstaff? Right, and about the Alpine F1 car.
No, I think obviously with Simstaff, what we're trying to achieve really is bringing opportunities for people to work in sim racing full time. So we had someone called Phil who used to work for us, who now works at the museum with Silverstone, which is great. But also at Goodwood, we had 15, 16 people working there. So I guess there's two parts to it. The first part is if you're a passionate sim racer who enjoys talking to people and working at events, you'd love you to come work with us. But also if you're a brand who's looking to go to a trade show or a private event and you need staff to support, there's no one better than a sim racer to talk about your product,
That's
so
100%.
That's kind of the two big messages from my side.
All right. Thanks so much, Josh, for being on the show, and thanks so much for coming here to the Escapade.
No, it's a pleasure as always, and I'm glad you brought the sun for summer. This is great that it's finally arrived.
This is great. Have you enjoyed the views?
It's amazing views. I will come here next time. Every time. Amazing.